What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're back for the Under Contract podcast number 6. Today I have my dude Naz here, and we got some questions for this guy. We're excited. And why don't you tell these people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, your history, if you will.
History. All right. So was born in Ohio, lived there till about 15. And then 2008.
Oh, dang, it was that late. I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then 2008 hit, and then we moved here because the economy collapsed. And then went from Deer Park to the military to back to here.
Okay.
Been an auto mechanic, roofing contractor.
Dang. So let's start with the military.
All right.
Run me through that. So you made the decision one day, okay, I'm going to join up. How did that go? Like, did you go to a recruiting office or what?
Yeah, my stepdad planted the seed in my head because I really didn't have much interest during high school, or I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Like in school stuff?
Yeah, didn't know what I wanted to do. Knew college was expensive, so I was like, I'm not about to take that route if I'm unsure. And then my stepdad was like, well, try. You talk about the Marines. You're smart. Try for the Air Force. I went into the recruiting office, took their it's not the actual ASVAB, but a pre-test. They give you a certain time limit to do it, and within 10 minutes I was out of it. It's kind of common sense questions.
Well, don't you have to have a IQ above 80? There's a line for sure, because if you're below a certain line, they won't take you.
Dude, yeah, that line is pretty damn low though.
Yeah.
One of those if you fill out your name, you could probably get into the Marines.
Yeah.
But went in there, took that pre-ASVAB, came out in 10 minutes, and my stepdad was like, you came out so fast I thought you bombed it on purpose to not join, because they thought I was against joining.
How many questions was it?
I think it was 50.
Oh, okay.
You're 50 or 100, but
easy.
Pretty much.
Layups.
Yeah.
Open court layups.
Yeah. Like I said, common sense questions if a plane's or a train's leaving from Chicago at this speed, how long is it going to take to get there? Weird shit like that. But, yeah. Scored pretty well. They were like, you got pretty much a high enough score to get any mechanical job you want. What are you thinking about? And I filled out 8 to 10 jobs from F-22 crew chief, B-52 crew chief.
F-22 would have been sick.
Yeah, that was the one that I wanted to go to, but apparently fighter jet world is super fast paced, sleeping on the flight line type shit. And no, I ended up getting picked for B-52s, and they went to 2 places: Minot, North Dakota, and Barksdale, Louisiana.
Is that a jet or a prop plane?
That is a jet. So remember the giant ones off Call of Duty Black Ops, the
Yeah.
Rolling Thunders, the huge ones.
Yeah,
those.
Okay.
So 8 turbines. The wings are so long that they actually flex.
That's what they carry, the big, if you're taking tanks to Afghanistan.
No, that's a C-130s and
okay.
C-5. So the C stands for cargo, the B stands for bomber.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so worked on the nuclear side of those. That was pretty fun. Good experience. If you're unsure of what you want to do in life and you're not a complete screw up, go to the military.
My grandpa used to say, if someone was in trouble, send them to the service.
Honestly,
it makes you grow up.
Yeah, it does. Because I said, at 18, I didn't know, or 17 going on to 18, didn't know what I wanted to do. And they pretty much figured it out for me. They're like, hey, you're going to work on planes. We're going to pay you to go to school. Pretty much give you a crash course on how to work on planes. And then when you get to your base, that's when you're going to really learn on the job training. And yeah, you just meet so many different people, and they force you to be on your own. A college dorm, but you got to figure it out on your own, to survive. And then work. They'll tell you 2:30 to 10:30 p.m., 8-hour shifts, weekend duty, and yeah, dude, it's so simple.
Yeah,
that getting out is pretty terrifying, because it's you go from
having such a structure every day, all day, every day,
to figure it out.
It's retire, professional athletes are retiring from their sport,
and
they just don't know what to do with their life. Yeah. So you got out of basic, and then would you get your orders to go?
Yeah, to technical training. So I went from Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, to Wichita Falls, Texas, which I can't even remember the Air Force Base name, but Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. And that's where pilot training happens and aircraft maintenance. So pretty much everyone that's in aircraft maintenance will go through a Shepherd for either a couple months, couple weeks, all changes up. And then from there, you'll usually get orders to your next base. When I was going through, it was kind of a weird time. So like,
what year was this?
2013,
Yeah.
middle of 2013. So I think a sequestration was happening. So as like people were coming in, they were trying to kick a lot of people out. And so I was meeting people in technical training that were like, I've been here like 6 months, 8 months because I just don't have orders to like go to my next base.
They were just holding people up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Dang.
Like just waiting there. And they were like, well, because that's not the real Air Force, but they're like, you're kind of like in limbo. So like, we'll kind of like treat you like you're stationed here. But then like.
So what did you work and stuff?
No, it's pretty much just like a trade school.
Okay.
School, and then like you live on the dorm of the trade school or like on the property of the trade school. That's the best way that I can describe it.
Okay.
And,
So when did you go to, you were in North Dakota, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
So like I said, certain planes only go to certain bases. With bombers, since like we don't really live in that much of crazy time anymore, the need for them to be so close, especially B-52s because they're so big, the need for them to be all over the place or all over the world really isn't there. So like logistically, like the military is going to keep you close by. And they chose either for B-52s, either North Dakota because it's so centered in the United States, or Barksdale, Louisiana, because that's where the headquarters is at. And yeah, so two bases.
The headquarters for what?
Global Strike. So like your different kind of like management.
In Louisiana?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like think Shreveport.
Wow.
So like billions of dollars worth of aircraft, and it's in Shreveport or Baton Rouge, but nasty area.
Yeah. So
And, it's either you live in the ghetto or you live where it's freezing.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But what you do when you get there is you buy a rent house. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you did. Great decision, right?
No. No. No.
You sold that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good.
I sold it, and the reason why I say no, just because it was more stress than anything else.
Well, for what you were doing in that time in your life, because I knew you then, and you were like, dude, this is just stressing me out, and it's so far away. You didn't want to be a landlord. You have to want to be a landlord.
You have to be a landlord, and like you have to be prepared to be a landlord. Like you're not going to make money off just having one property in the background. You need to have a couple, and then when you have a couple, that's your full-time job at that. I feel like that's your full-time job at that point.
Or you hire a management company, but if you don't, 5 rentals you're going to be getting phone calls.
If you have a full-time job and then do that, and like that, the first thing's going to suffer. But I tried that out for a while, and I got lucky because like the property was headache-free enough, but I knew that's not always going to be the case. And at the time, I wasn't making the money to like, if I had an emergency, like, would I be able to cover
like
it?
if the AC went out?
Exactly. Or like if I needed the roof to be replaced, like I'd be like, is that something I'm willing to like roll the dice on to like maybe make a couple $100 a month? And yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I kind of wasn't a bad decision, but I definitely rushed into it and then got out before COVID and the big boom and everything. So,
oh, dang.
Yeah. So I'm like, I was actually talking to Blake Bratcher. Shout out to Blake Bratcher. I was talking to him over the weekend about it. I'm like, I'm just going to take a break from buying homes because anytime I try to like do something with property, like it just, I'm digging up a can, or like I open up a can of worms, and it's just not my thing.
Yeah. It's always kind of something though. I mean, no property is ever going to be like that. I mean, I'm not saying like you can't find it, but there's always going to be something. So yeah, Blake's been killing it with the home.
Dude,
I guess he's been renovating his own house.
Dude, yeah. We had a pretty good discussion about that. He's been teaching himself a lot, and it's cool to see like people teach themselves like, useful trades or useful skills.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, some people try it themselves and like.
Yeah, no, I've seen because I've walked through his home. And it's beautiful.
Didn't he do the windows?
Yeah, he just recently did the windows.
That's great.
He had somebody come out and do the windows.
I'm all proud of myself for doing this wall.
It looks good.
I mean, I expected it to be a little tougher than it was. It wasn't too bad. It's just flooring. So
yeah, no, and that's one of the things too. Is like if you're just patient with it and like can like step back before you like put a hole in something, you got it.
Yeah. Patient people are the best mechanics and the best, working with your hand. Yeah. Bodie. Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent mechanic.
Excellent guy too, huh?
Yeah.
God.
Stand up, honest, like very dependable.
He's one of the best people I know.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's move into 2022. You're now roofing. How'd you get into that? When'd you get into that?
Roofing. I got into it 2018.
Pull the mic up a little closer.
2018. How's that sound?
Good.
2018. My dad was doing it for, at that point, about 9-10 years.
In Ohio.
Yeah, in Ohio.
Dad lives in Ohio.
Yeah, he's up in Ohio while we were
Dad.
While in Houston. So, but so I kind of just needed a change of scenery. Needed to kind of figure some things out. Realize like being like a mechanic, a technician, the money's not really there, or at least what I want to do isn't like really feasible at the time. And my current skill set in mechanics like isn't there to make like great money. With roofing though, my dad was like, you can make some decent money, especially if you get into sales. I'll wait to teach you sales. I'll just get you into the maintenance side. So at least like tearing off a roof, general repairs, things of that nature. He's like, I can keep you busy like that and you'll make some good money while you're up here and kind of, fix like the normal like mid-20 dude financial mistakes like credit card debt and all that shit. And did that. Decided to come back to Houston like 6 months shortly because I was kind of just like I could just see it from the outside in. Houston would be a bigger market and the potential to make more money would be in Houston. So that's why I came back and decided to come back into sales and got with the current company I'm with today, Reliable Roofing and Sheet Metal. It's been great the entire time. The owner, his name's Fidel, great guy, takes care of me. Any questions that I had, if he'd sit down and actually teach me, I can't thank that guy enough for giving me an opportunity to like break into sales. Like never sold a roof before up to that point. And he was just like, yeah, know what you're talking about. I'll give you a shot. And yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah.
So
end of 2018 is when that was.
In Ohio though, I feel like a roof is going to undergo you're just like the sun hitting it and rain and snow.
Yeah.
Like there's really probably not like, I feel like Ohio is a little bit too far north for tornadoes, right?
Actually, no, like Southern Ohio is like prime time. Southern to like Central Ohio is pretty common for tornadoes because it's pretty rural out there, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So I think that alone, it being rural and pretty close to Kentucky kind of keeps it like that. Not tornado alleys. I think that's Oklahoma, but when I was there, I've experienced like tornadoes or like the twisters.
Yeah. A lot of it is rural because I was surprised whenever I learned that there was like a diesel truck scene in Ohio, like New York, Pennsylvania, like in the backwoods and stuff. There's actually like redneck guys out there.
Like legitimately sanctioned diesel events in Ohio, like goes down because Josh talked to me about it before. I forget what the drag strip is called, but he was like, I've gone to Florida with him to watch him race and help him out. And obviously, since Ohio is a common place for me to go, we always figured like, hey, whenever it's time, let's go out there. I'm already used to the area, familiar, but yeah, Ohio's a weird place.
I feel like a lot of people come from Ohio, but they always move away.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder why that is. I've been there one time. It was nice.
It's dude, I'll put it like this: the economy in Houston alone could probably rival the whole state of Ohio.
It's like a strong 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10. Like good enough to tolerate, but not good enough to stay.
3.5 out of 10.
Ooh,
because that's about how many months a year I would tolerate to go up there.
See, yeah, I couldn't do the snow, dude.
And then after that, I just finished, or I just kind of realized moving too much messes up momentum.
Absolutely.
So like, if I want to have like a solid couple years, I can't be hopping around and starting over in Ohio and then starting back over in Houston because it just, you do all that work to get your wheels spinning and then
you lose your network.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to be a successful business person, you have to talk to people.
Yeah, and that's what I realized too. It's like
the same people.
Yeah, I figured it might be easier working in Ohio because my dad's been up there for so long that I could kind of like network off our name. But it just didn't pan out that way. So I figured, let me just, hunker down, not make my life so complicated, and just focus a year, 18 months in Houston consistently and see how I do. And I've been like sticking to that plan for like 5 months, and it's been like just paying off in like tenfold.
What do you think about like, like any profession where people see other people making money? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like roofing is that kind of same deal where you have like all these pop-up companies that just come up out of nowhere? And especially I've always heard like storm chasers.
Oh yeah. Fly-by-night guys. Yeah. That's a very common problem, especially during hurricanes. There was so many people I met with.
They just take your deposit and run, right?
Yeah. Or they'll be like, give me a certain amount of money for like materials or something, and then leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they'd be like, hey, I'm going to go grab stuff and then just leave.
So that's why it's important to always check like the historic
check, like do your research on like the people you're dealing with.
I feel like if you're not, it's like foundation companies. I tell my buyers like, there's the Allied Foundations, Due West. Mm-hmm. Those people have been around. I've been seeing Due West commercials ever since I was a kid. So that's a reputable company, that their warranty actually means something.
Yeah, like if you have a warranty through a good company, like they'll actually come back out, repair, because, most of your business is word of mouth. And like the fastest way for you to lose clients is like, hey, have you used Naz? Yeah, but he XYZ. Or, like that's the fast way to like, okay, like that completely closes that door to that client, anybody that they know that might be needing a roof.
You got to get referrals.
Yep. Like that's the thing too, is like customer service and referrals will take you a long way in roofing. But that's also what separates, I feel like, those fly-by-night companies, or not even the fly-by-night companies, but like the smaller ones versus like the people that have been doing it for a while and like maybe charge a little bit more, or maybe aren't telling you what you want to hear as a homeowner. Because a lot of people just want to hear like, oh, my house is fine. And like, yeah, everybody wishes it was, but the reality is you're like right there of like, hey, this shingle's about to break down.
Yeah.
Like down to the fiberglass. And before you know it, like it's going to look like just white hairs all over your roof.
Yeah. Whenever it's like glistening in the sun, that's how you know it's just clapped.
Yeah. And then even then people will be like, I still probably have like 2 years on it, but
this is a 50-year roof.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, maybe if it stayed in the wrapper, in the AC, it'd be a 50-year roof or a 50-year shingle. But no, with fly-by-nights, I see that popping up during like natural disasters or times of emergency. Like the worst people come out, obviously.
It's like depressing, man.
Yeah, it's nasty to think about, because it's like Hurricane Harvey hit, and I talked to so many people that were like, dude, they charge you like $6,000 for a roof, and then like threw up like an awfully installed roof. Like a lot of homes were in like the Pasadena area alone, because that's when I first started, was kind of a couple years after Harvey, but still like people were like recently affected by it.
Well, Harvey wasn't really like it just rained a lot. I feel like Ike was like the high wind deal, where like in real estate, it's like Ike roof is a term. 2008 roof, Ike roof.
Yeah, and same thing in roofing too, was because I wasn't here for Ike. I don't think I was.
2008.
I think I came after. I think I came after I came in like 2010. So I think I said I came in 2008 earlier, but no, 2008 economy crash happened, and then I came in 2010. But yeah, I see a lot of homes that were replaced between like 2008 to like 2010, and they were like, yeah, we replaced it because of Ike. And then most of the time, if they hold up now, they were installed decently. But like I said, it's like recently the Hurricane Harvey one, or when Hurricane Harvey hit and caused some damage, and people got it replaced by then. Within like 2 years, like the shingles were literally like pulling off. Like you could just pull off a shingle, like they didn't even nail it down.
Oh,
and like that was very common. Like, and
you just see like a shingle like sliding down the roof.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Like literally, you can just step on it and like pull it with your shoe.
They didn't even nail gun it.
Mm-mm.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's
like
scary.
I seen that with like fly-by-night, and I'm like, where's this company from? They're like Louisiana. I'm like,
what are they doing over here?
Yeah. But that's a common thing. Like storm chasers, Florida deals with that issue a lot. I don't know how they actually mitigate it, but
I'm to a point now where I've looked at enough houses where I can kind of eyeball a roof and say, this is 1 to 3 years old, or this looks like it's maybe fine. There's some that, I've seen 10-year-old roofs that look awesome. Mm-hmm. And then I've seen 10-year-old roofs that, like you were saying about the fiberglass, like showing through.
Yeah. No,
why is that?
Lack of ventilation. So like you got to think all that air in your attic is just cooking the decking underneath, and then eventually that starts kind of just cooking the shingle, both the sun directly hitting it and then from underneath.
From both sides.
Yeah, so you're searing both sides at the same time pretty much. Or you're searing the bottom and you're baking the top.
How can you avoid doing that? Ridge vents?
Yeah, ridge vent is the common standard, or like pretty much common practice nowadays. And having nice soffit. So like the perforated soffit that a lot of these new like
They all have that now.
yeah. Like that's pretty much, you do that and you got it covered.
Yeah.
As long as you keep like that intake and that exhaust pretty sufficient for like the square footage of the roof or the area of the roof, you'll be good. But
yeah, that old soffit that's just like plywood, it all is rotten every older house that I see with that type of soffit, it's always rotten.
And all they do is just cut like a little square and then put the vent over it.
Yeah,
like
and
chicken
then
wire.
and then a squirrel freaking goes up in there and has babies. And
yeah, when I lived in that Peggy Street house, they just had the chicken wire on the soffit, and we had a nice family of raccoons.
It's not even like a screen; it's chicken wire.
Yeah,
so they could just rip it out. Probably.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing cats like climbing up on our fence and like clawing it down, and then getting up there. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
just hear them running around all night.
Up in your roof.
Yeah,
I had a squirrel in my roof one time at the house on Ireland. It was like 5:00 in the morning, and I hear like right above my head. I'm like, what? I went up there the next morning. There was shit everywhere. He had chewed like the straps that hold up your ductwork. He had chewed those. I had to have one of those replaced. There was like trash, random stuff he had gotten into.
Pulled out.
Yeah.
One squirrel caused you like 2 hours of a cleanup and like a couple $100
and a couple hours of lost sleep because he's up there just 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Of course, it's at 5.
Yeah.
So
critical hours.
So when you got into roofing, how did you think it was going to be compared to how it actually was? Like the learning process, because I feel like when you get into a new job, you feel like people that have been in it a while have they have all the answers. Mm-hmm. And then you usually learn that's not the case.
No, dude, I thought it'd be pretty black and white. I don't even say that. Man, that's a good question. You got me thinking about what my expectations were 3 years ago and the reality of it now.
Like for me, I didn't realize, like you were saying, I thought it was more black and white. Mm-hmm. Do you want the house? Do you not want the house?
Yeah. And it's just like, do you want your roof done? I can talk to you for insurance. I can not guarantee, but I can almost guesstimate if you make a responsible like insurance payment, your deductible, which is all you're liable for in an insurance claim, pay attention, it's most likely going to be less.
Wait, what did you just say?
Like if you file an insurance claim to do your roof, all you're liable for is just your deductible. So no more. And most of the time that's going to be less than any retail price that I can give out on like a roof, unless it's like
the deductible will be less than any retail price.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Cause 1%, 2% of your home's value, depending how much it's worth. I feel like after like 400 to 420,000, like the deductible becomes 1% because 2% on like a $450,000 home is $9,000. That's a lot of money. So they'll try and kind of work with some homeowners at that point. But yeah, most of the times your deductible will always be less than like a cash deal if you were to pay out of pocket. So I try to go that route. And it makes sense. It's black and white. It's like I'm saving you money. The insurance pays me more. Like everybody wins.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah. But then I kind of realized like you kind of have to like break that barrier of, one, why is this guy knocking on my door? 2, why is he telling me my home's messed up? And 3, now he's going to try and sell me on fixing it for me when I didn't even have an issue to begin with. It's like I quickly realized that, and then that's when like I kind of started like seeing the challenges of door-to-door sales and roofing, and slowly realized like I have to make it a game or else I'm going to pull my hair out trying to like make it in Houston. And especially in Houston too, it's something I learned is Houston's a hyper competitive market.
There's a lot of roofers.
There's a lot of roofers, and they're everywhere. But
I see a wrap truck every time I go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you look out the window, there's a wrap truck. But yeah, that's one of the things too is I didn't realize how many roofing companies there are. So I'm just like, I get into it, and I look, and I'm like, oh my god, like everyone's got wrap trucks. They're making money. Like, I don't know if I'm doing this right.
Yeah,
I don't know. Kind of one of those things because that was my first sales job. And just straight into the fire, door-to-door sales. And
you door knocked and stuff?
Yeah, I still do.
Damn.
Yeah. That's, I mean, at first it's terrifying. Even now, some days if I don't do it for a while, I'll still be like.
It's nerve-wracking walking to a stranger's door and knocking on it.
Yeah, I kind of expect like everyone to just be like, "What are you doing here?" So I'm like, I'm still walking.
My thing is like, you have to do that type of stuff, but I don't like whenever somebody knocks on my.
Same.
I really don't answer the door unless I know you're coming over. If you're just like,
same,
I'll look on my ring, and if I don't recognize you,
I have a little bit of sympathy for door-to-door guys because I'm like,
I'll hear you out. Yeah, if I do come to the
like
door, I get the hustle.
Yeah.
I had a kid come try to sell me some solar panels the other day. Yeah, and I said, well, do you have a card? And he was like, oh, I don't do cards. I was like, man, you always need to have a business card.
Always.
I had an open house yesterday where it was like some people older people that don't text or email really. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to be able to give them a card.
Yeah, you got to be able to be flexible and like be able to like accept any client. But then also I figure like when you get good at something like this, you know which client is like pretty much like your ace in the hole, like 100% closing almost every time.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's why it's good to get repeat business. So you kind of like, okay, when this person sends me a referral, I know
who I'm dealing with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, and then I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of just figured if I can stay consistent with it and do like 1 or 2 roofs a month, I'll make decent money. And, dude, wow. It was so slow starting off. Like, cause I mean, you're pretty much just like figuring out even where to get the snow on a hot summer day to like get that snowball rolling. So like, but then after a while you start building up that pipeline and it gets easier. But dude, going into it, didn't know how to get clients, just figured posting about it, telling my friends, telling my mom, telling my family members, and staying consistent with it.
Dude, that was me so bad at the very beginning, like on Facebook.
Dude,
if I had no business, I'd be like,
you have to do that.
Time to make a little Facebook post.
Like if you're in sales, you have to do that.
Allow me to assist you today.
You have to be vulnerable if you want to make it in sales for sure. Cause,
yeah, you just have to get on the phone.
Yeah.
You have to get over your fear of calling people.
Door knocking, or like, mine is making posts. Like my recent things have been making.
Well, it's tough to stay consistent.
That too.
Like with Blake Baker Real Estate, I don't want to become like, I don't want to be posting like
too much.
Here's your spring cleaning home tips. Like,
yeah,
dude, that's not me.
Yeah. And yeah, that's one thing I figured out too. It's like, I have to work with my strengths versus like trying to up my weaknesses.
Yeah. And if you're going to post daily, there's going to be filler content.
Yeah.
Like,
and I figured that I can't do it daily cause that's too much. Like,
yeah. But like for someone like Clay, he has probably unlimited material that he could just,
he can just
post every day. Cause it's a, the car scene is like
anybody. It's very big
people that like that stuff will watch videos over and over of the same car.
Oh yeah.
Like I can only post so many. What do you think about this kitchen?
Yeah. And then I can only post so many. Got a roof done. Look at this roof. It looks like 15 others that I did last year. Like
it's black.
Yeah.
It's composite.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Hey, you want to see something crazy? A gray roof.
New flashing.
Yeah. Look at the drip edge I just did.
Drip edge, dude. That's a hot topic on when we made the purchase of my best friend Keegan's house. There was like the inspector was saying one thing about the drip edge and the builder was saying another thing. And we run into that, like, because inspectors have to call stuff what code is now.
Yeah.
And like on older homes, excuse me, on older homes, like say for example, if you have a home that was built in the mid 90s and it has a mid 90s breaker box, like just because it's deficient on the report doesn't mean that it's like not safe.
Yeah.
It was code at the time. And some of them will even put, look, this was code at the time.
Yeah.
But nowadays you need arc faults, you need XYZ.
Yeah. And it needs to be brought up to date. And I get that. And yeah, honestly, drip edge is a hot topic too. It's actually came up on my Reddit like this morning about like drip edge, if it's sufficient enough to hang over, if it's like all the way back to the wood. And I mean, honestly,
was it supposed to be 2 inches?
Follow code. That's the simplest way. Like just follow code.
Yeah.
Follow instructions.
Pull permits.
Yeah. Pull permits. because that'll bite you in the ass, especially if you get caught with that one. You might get you might get away with it 99 times. With 100 times you do it and you get caught, you're going to be wishing, wow.
Well, interesting fact, there is actually, so when you go to sell a home, you have to fill out the seller's disclosure, which tells any prospective buyer, like, this is what we know to be true about the house. Mm-hmm. It has this issues. It, you know, there's a crack in the sheetrock in the bed. Like, you have to disclose everything. Any deficiencies at all.
Yeah, if not, you could be, aren't you like on the hook for like legally?
Yeah,
is that like something they say, but not actually like ever enforced?
Well, here's the thing. You could say like, that's all I was aware of. You know, like if they found something new, you really may have not known.
Yeah, because I mean, most people don't know what they're getting into when they buy a home. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
but what I was going to say was like on the last page, there's actually a section where what is it? It's like if you've ever added onto your home without pulling a permit, like it asks you, have you ever done any additions or anything like that without pulling a permit? So, I mean, even if you were to lie and say like, oh, we pulled permit. Okay, show me the permit.
I was going to say, yeah, because I'm thinking like if you lie about it, they're going to just ask,
yeah,
where's the record of it then?
Yeah. And then, okay, so then the buyer's like, all right, well, you have a whole outdoor kitchen with patio, covered patio.
That added a whole porch and a carport. How do I even know if this is done right? Is this going to sway when it's windy out? Yeah. Like that's, and that's the thing too, that I also like, I don't know. I've kind of just come to realize it's like, if you just pull the permit the first time and deal with the headache that it can be, the bureaucratic headache that it can be, like it makes everybody's life easier. Cause then the way I see it is if I did like that addition and like didn't pull a permit from my client and then they go to sell their house in like 2 years and then they're going to like come back and be like, hey, I need a permit now to sell my house because I opened my mouth.
What do you do at that point? You have to have it inspected by the city and then they come in and freaking red tape it?
Yeah, you pretty much just backdate it to whenever like you actually did the job. And then, have the inspector come out and engineer if need be and pretty much go through the process. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, if they do that, like you can verify and that's, I guess, like peace of mind. I'd like to have shit verified.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, yeah.
So what is it like? What is
anxiety?
What does an insurance company look for? Like if you say you have a customer call you and say, hey, I want a new roof, but I want to see if insurance can cover this. They send an adjuster out, right? Mm-hmm. And then what do they, so like where's the line? Like, you ever run into a roof where you're like, man, it's kind of 50-50 whether they'll do this or not. You just don't know.
Every hail roof in Texas that has like not enough ventilation, but like a decent amount, because hail impacts and blistering look pretty close and people probably argued about it all day. But impacts and blistering look pretty close and like they make like a circular design. But the thing is with heat, when it hits it, or blistering is when the roof or the shingle pretty much bubbles because it's so hot, it's cooking underneath, and then it pops like an actual blister. And it can look really close to hail impacts, but when you get up close and actually like show it to somebody, if you start seeing like granule loss or like actual granules like impacted into the shingle, like the composite, the asphalt composite behind it, I mean, it shows that something hit it from the outside. You kind of have to do a little bit of investigation. It's never black and white. No two claims are the same. But like on your style shingle, it'd have to be bought through hail because these just don't fold through wind. That's the nice thing about modern shingles is they're pretty resilient to like 120, 130 mile an hour winds.
They've changed a lot, huh?
Oh yeah. Because like before, like the old 3 tabs where it just lays completely flat next to each other. I mean, after like 15 years, a good windstorm comes in and
you'll see it go boop.
Yeah. Or you'll see them start folding up. And like, that's when you start seeing like, just like the one rectangular shingle just missing. And then the rest are just there. But, actually just got one bought in Deer Park for that, or trying to. Originally, they didn't want to buy it. The insurance company did it. They sent an adjuster out. They denied the claim. The homeowner got a hold of me a couple months later, and 7 months later from when they originally opened up the claim, they finally sent out another adjuster.
7 months?
Yeah, from the original date of opening up the claim. They finally got around it and be like, hey, we lost it. Here you go.
Wow.
Called me, but...
How long do you think a roof really lasts? Because I find that from what I've seen, 22 to 25 years is... Because I've had people tell me in the past, like, oh no, this is a 40-year roof. This is a 50-year roof. I'm like, dude, there's
There's
way.
not, like, it's Houston. We're in a swamp. It's hot. It's humid.
Houses take hell kind of in Houston because with the temperature changes.
Every year.
Winter and summer are so polar opposite of each other.
Well, we get very close
in
to
spurts,
freezing.
yeah.
We get very close to freezing. And then we also, I mean, it's not common to see triple digits in the summertime. And then you got to think your attic is like probably another 20 to 30% hotter than the actual outside temp. So you'll cook in there. And
we used to tell people when I was building new homes out of college, that was my first job. I was building townhomes in the Heights, and we used to tell people like, hey, throughout the first couple years, you're going to hear pops and moans and groans because like as you transition
it's like
from
the home settling. And like,
go from wintertime to all of a sudden one day it's 90 degrees, it expands.
Yep.
And you hear pops and
yeah, I know. Usually on average, I mean, with a newer shingle like this, it's a 30-year shingle. But yeah, around 22 to 25 years. I'd say if you can get like 70 to 80% of the life that they advertise on it, you're doing pretty good.
yeah.
I mean, given the conditions, like I said, being in Houston, you're never going to get like the full 30 years out of it. And if you do, good luck getting insurance to buy that because they're not going to be like, this is just negligence at this point that you had the same roof for 30 years on your property.
Yeah.
So
I run into a lot of roofs where it's like the roof doesn't look bad, but the, I guess you call it the caulk around the vent pipes
yeah,
dries out and just basically disintegrates.
Yeah.
And then the flashing will pop up. So that's something you really need to kind of stay on top of. Like maybe once a year, just look up there.
look up there. I would say if you're in that situation and if you're a homeowner and unsure of roof maintenance, call a roofing company out there because most of the time they're going to do free inspections and estimates.
Call NAS.
Call me, 419-340-5019. Again, 419-340-5019. It's my voicemail voice. But yeah, it's good to call like a roofer like every 3 to 5 years just to get it inspected because within that time, if it's a new home, used home, whatever, they're going to take a look at all the caulking and the sealant and want to make sure because any tiny penetration in that roof will leak, especially on a rainy day. Water's just going to sit there. It will find its way into that decking or into the interior of the home and sit and cause mold and issues.
Yeah, you don't want mold, huh?
Because then you got to call it a biohazard if it becomes black mold, and that's no good. That's when you start getting plastic in your home, and you got to go live at a hotel or an extended stay Hilton for a week.
That sounds like so much fun.
It sounds like hell because you didn't want somebody on your roof to just look at a couple of nails. No, but roof maintenance is a highly overlooked thing. Like I said, every 3 to 5 years, you just call somebody like, hey, will you take a look at my vent pieces and sealant? And it's not too expensive, a couple $100 to get somebody out there, a couple hours a day, and they'll ensure, that it's not going to leak because they don't want to come all the way back out there. Most of the time you'll get a warranty on it and it's covered, but like no one wants to go back out there. Like you want to do it right the first time.
Do y'all do free estimates?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Free estimates, free inspections, it's kind of one of those things that it's kind of standard here, but yeah.
So, one last roof question. So like my parents' roof right now is 22 years old. Like there's no leaks or anything, but if you look at it, you're like, dang, that's a 22-year-old roof.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell. When do you look at a roof and say like, nah, like with theirs, if you were to look at it, I mean, yeah, it's going to need to be replaced soon, but like also it's still functional and not leaking right now. Where do you suggest people draw that line? I mean, it's going to be a lot different case to case.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be different case to case, but in general, I would try to get up close to the shingle and like take a very good look at it and kind of see like how well it's holding like the current granules. So if like I'm able to kind of like wave my hand over it and it's just sweeping them off, I'd be like, hey.
Oh, and you look in the gutters and it's just full.
And that too. Yeah. Because you're looking for granule loss on them because that's over time it just pretty much loses that adhesive to hold the little granules on there. So yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is like anything past 20 years is kind of like.
It's subjective.
Yeah, it's very subjective because like we said earlier, I've seen some that were done at 10 years, like 10 years old after Ike. And I'm just like, oh, this is probably like a 22-year-old roof. There's no way insurance is going to buy this. And then they hand me the paperwork. They're like, yeah, the roof was done in 2010. I'm like, oh my God. Like, this is the worst roof I've ever seen. And I still got insurance to buy it.
Okay, so one last thing. We're 40 minutes in already. Isn't that crazy?
Good conversation.
So our good friend Dustin Larson, he replied to my story, and he said, I just know Naz is going to talk about getting yummy for 2 hours.
Dude, if you got 2 hours, I can go on for 2 hours.
So that's been your main theme on Instagram lately is being yummy. Okay.
Being yummy.
But that doesn't mean that has a lot of different meanings, I think. It's mental, physical, diet.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
I mean, really getting yummy is just about, in general, you can go to the gym, eat right. You can get physically yummy. You can meditate. You can practice a little bit more patience and get mentally and spiritually yummy. I mean, you can just apply it to just about anything and it'll work. It'll work.
Spiritually.
Yeah. That's the goal right now. Is
nice.
Everlasting yumminess.
Yeah.
Spiritually, mentally, financially.
Eternal yumminess.
Yeah, eternal yumminess. Eternal yumminess. Which also, I didn't cue that term. A content creator named Wrecking Ball did. So if you look him up, follow his shit too.
Wrecking, like without the R?
Yeah, like Wrecking Ball without the R. Wrecking Ball. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got yummy from him. So, like, not taking credit for that.
Cool, man. Well, any closing words? Oh, I have one last question. If you could tell your 16-year-old self one thing, and it doesn't have to be like 3 words, like one piece of advice for your 16-year-old self, what would it be?
Take out credit cards and get Bitcoin.
Download Robinhood.
Stock options on SPY for the rest of your life.
Well, honestly, at that time when you were 16, buy Bitcoin would have been great.
That's advice. What I'm saying. Bitcoin probably would have been like $14. I probably would have been on a watch list because what were you doing with Bitcoin in 2016 or like 20 prior to that? But yeah, 2016, 2012, 2010 me would have been. Yeah, if you were buying Bitcoin in 2010, you were for sure like on a watch list.
Oh, it was like under $1, and
it was only like usable on the dark web.
I saw a video.
Like, yeah, $12,000 Discover It credit card right on Bitcoin, and then just like never work ever again.
Oh,
that'd be unfulfilling as hell. That'd be super unfulfilling.
Yeah, I mean, say you bought 12 grand in Bitcoin at $1, and then I think now it's up to 30. But at one time it was up to $55,000 per coin.
40,000 per coin times 12,000. That's a big enough number that like you're rich enough you don't have to do math at that point. That's how big that number is.
It's just too big.
Now, realistically, 16-year-old me, I'd tell him work out. Don't get wrapped up in the day-to-day shit that like is insignificant. Like whatever you're going through in high school is not important. But yeah, work out. Have healthy habits. Stop stressing your parents out, idiot. Stop stressing your parents out. What are you doing? Stop drinking so much.
Be a little more grateful.
Yeah. Be a little bit more appreciative that you don't have to pay rent yet, or like got to go to the military to like figure it out, idiot.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Just general. Be healthy. Be patient. And shit.
Just be better.
Yeah.
Just like have more money.
Stop whooping your own ass over shit that everybody will be shameful for, because 9 times out of 10, if you look in the mirror, like you didn't fuck up as bad as you think you did. That's just in general advice for anyone. Like if you're going through something, 85% of people probably have it worse than you. So just like chill out.
Yeah, time takes care of everything.
Breathe. Eat some baked chicken or some shit. Do something for like 30 minutes.
Eat some baked chicken and some brown rice.
Yeah, long grain wild rice, and if you're Mexican, switch from tortillas to whole grain naan. It's almost the same thing and way healthier for you.
Dang.
But yeah.
All right, bro. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching.
Go get some vodka soda limes and lunch.
Red Bull vodka at lunch.
I gotta watch my sugar. Vodka soda lime, baby.
Okay.
Liquid death and vodka soda.
Joking, by the way. All right.
Yeah.
Later, y'all.